I got to say, one of the biggest disappointments in grocery stores is the commercial tortilla. For a city, for a culture, for a country that prides itself on Mexican food. Mexican heritage is all throughout our country, especially here in the Southwest, of course, and we are a border city.
And once upon a time, we even annexed part of the country.
We were Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that you go to most of even really good grocery stores that usually have great products, to be quite honest with you, you go to their tortilla selection and they've got those plastic bags full of what appear to be deflated Frisbees,
thick, bready, weirdy.
It's like if Wonder Bread was run over by a semi truck, and it just ended up in a perfect circle. They're just flavorless. And you try to get the healthy ones, and the healthy ones are terrible too. They're absolutely terrible. And you get really good tortillas. Like in San Diego, there's a number of places that do fantastic tortillas. El Indio is one of the OGs. One of the OGs just closed, and this is one of the most bereaved closings we've had in a few decades in San Diego, which is Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa closed, and I think Abu, who takes care of our son during the day so that we can have a day job. She is from Guadalajara, knows tortillas are her life, and she would drive to Pancho Villa every week to get fresh tortillas for our son Jasper, and now he doesn't have tortillas. And
now Jasper's starving.
He has a hole in his life, but you know what? This is how good rock albums are made. He's like, I remember the day I broke. This is what inspired the song. He's going to be on stage. He's going to be a Coachella side tent.
Jasper Johnson. He's got a rock star name.
He's going to be on a side tent and be like, when I was 3, this goes out to when they closed Pancho Villa and broke my life in 2 and caused a fissure in me. So that's Jasper at age 20-something. Apparently he's done some drugs. So anyways, that was a really rabbit hole. The point of this is that there's a San Diego woman who started in Sonora, Mexico, came to the United States, went to culinary school in San Diego, and then started working behind the scenes on Food Network, and realized that her sole mission in life was to bring dignity back to the tortilla. And now she has, took her a couple years and going back to Sonora and finding her reason and her passion. And now she has one of the more successful tortilla brands, on the healthier, it's 4 ingredients. She does tortillas right, which is don't put too much crap in them. And she is coming into our studio today. Janet is coming in from Coyotas Organic Tortillas. It is a San Diego success story. We're getting the tortilla back, giving it some dignity, just proud.
It deserves it. It needs it.
I'm proud of the tortilla. Anyways, that's going to be our guest today. I'm Troy Johnson. This is Happy Half Hour. Jackie Bryant over to my right. The voluminous brain that is hers, galaxying it and ping-ponging its way around the room. You're my favorite tangent. That's it.
I'm good for one of those. I'm good for 20 of them. Just point me and shoot me, and I got you.
Jackie's. I'm the same way. I'm so squirrel. But you have to grab you by the shoulder sometimes. Be like, okay, that way.
It's like a physical impulse, and then there's no stop. It's like energy. It does not dissipate. It merely transforms.
It does transform. You are the intellectual hydra of the Happy Half Hour podcast.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so Jackie is bringing us the news.
Yeah, Mujer Divina Brunch Cafe is now open in Chula Vista. It's Chef Priscilla Curiel's new project that just opened up next to her grab-and-go Mujer Divina burrito shop on 3rd Avenue in Chula Vista. It's a really personal brunch spot for her. She's blending her Mexican roots with European flavors and says it's the happiest she's ever been in the kitchen. So there's chilaquiles, quesadillas de rajas con crema, which she's particularly known for at every restaurant she's ever had. Yeah. Her quesadillas with rajas, and she put them in the birria tacos,
a little cream,
too.
A little peppers.
She's so good.
Oh.
Orange carrot pancakes, which sound amazing. Mediterranean lox and toast. And it's a shift away from her birria-focused tuétano taqueria, which she confirms she's not reopening.
So this is, to give you guys context here, Priscilla started in San Isidro, and she made quite a name for herself with a birria. Her parents own a restaurant down in Chula Chula Vista, and then also in Tijuana, they had restaurants that were breakfast spots, I believe. And she
Talavera Azul is the one in Chula.
Talavera Azul,
very well known.
in Chula, exactly. And she is a birria whisperer, so good. You know, she serves the consomme along with it and tuétano.
She makes fresh tortillas too.
She makes fresh tortillas, and the little burritos of Mujer Divina are phenomenal.
I drive down there twice a month on weekends.
So good.
I get the bean and cheese, and I get the Irish, the pistachio Irish.
The machaca one is the one for me. Basically, Mexican beef jerky, rehydrated, so good. But she was supposed to reopen a tuétano in Chula Vista, and she's not going to do it anymore. I haven't called her. I got to check and see why she's not doing that. But it sounds like this brunch spot is going to be amazing as well.
Yeah, she's excited. She says she prefers brunch because she's a mom. She's got young kids. It allows her to work in the morning and be with them in the afternoon. So it'll be open daily from 8 to 3, 214 3rd Avenue in Chula Vista.
Okay, we're now a brunch media company. I'm going to do the same thing. Everybody's working from like 3:30 a.m. until 11. All right, there we go.
Those are your hours.
All right.
So Little Victory is opening in Carlsbad. North Park's natural wine favorite will be opening in Carlsbad Village at 2656 State Street. I don't even know what I said.
Whatever.
It was the former Queenstown Bistro, opening this month. It's the new chef duo of Elliot and Kelly Townsend from Long Story Short, who are at Vino Carta previously. They'll be running the kitchen. So rotating seasonal plates, low-key vibes, smart wine pairings. Obviously, no snobbery, not with this crew. The soft opening is coming soon, so follow them at Little Victory Wine Bar on Instagram for updates.
Carlsbad. Coming alive.
They're jealous of Oceanside, and I get it.
You know, Julia is living in Carlsbad now. She just leaned back in her chair.
Are you just LIVING?
Knuckles.
Ooh, she's going to Little Victory this weekend.
Oh my!
We'll get a full report next week on the pod. That's our producer.
Wow. So anyways, Little Victory in Carlsbad will be really, really good.
Aren't they coming on the podcast?
They are coming to the podcast in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll talk to them, get their story. What else?
So Binondo pop-up brings Michelin-level Asian comfort to Kearney Mesa. I know there's a lot of pop-ups, but this is one worth talking about.
I think we're going to have to stop talking about pop-ups.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
I actually
to be fair, I did pull it from our news, so this is a larger conversation, but this one's worth it. I did think about this, and I decided to qualify it anyway. So it's Justin Karolak, formerly of Menya Ultra, and Alan Goko, who was in the kitchen at Lecoq and Anime. And right away.
So Menya Ultra, if you guys don't know what Menya Ultra is, one of the best, if not the best, ramen shops in San Diego. And there's a ramen master. I'm not right now forgetting the name off the top of my head, but he will not order noodles from anywhere else. He has a very strict mandate of how broths are made, how noodles are made. It is down to the science. So if he learned under him, that's a great sign.
Yeah. So they're fine dining chefs, but they're using the pop-ups to make food that's personal, nostalgic, and what
kind of food?
I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
And a lot less precious than their resumes might suggest. So it's a Filipino, Taiwanese, Chinese comfort food mashup rooted in Manila's historic Binondo neighborhood, which is the world's oldest Chinatown, obviously outside of China. It's inside Tasty Pot in Kearney Mesa every Monday and Tuesday. They are serving pork belly bao, beef pares with garlic rice, pork shumai, churro like taro donuts, casual walk-in, no reservation, updated menus on Instagram, Binondo SD. That's the only way you can do it.
Binondo, how do you spell that?
Binondo.
And you can check sandiegomagazine.com for the food news. We have a story on it. Beth Demon, our food news writer, she gave us a story on that. Filipino food, not going away, getting stronger every single day. So good. I mean, obviously.
As it should here.
We
have one of the largest Filipino diasporas in the world.
I grew my high school, Mount Carmel. There's a really, really strong Filipino contingent in the student body, and all of my friends are Filipino. All the food was in the parks. We didn't have restaurants, and it was phenomenal, food in the parks. Now we're getting the restaurants. Now we're seeing some of the Filipino kids who grew up here and worked under French chefs, California cuisine chefs, whatever, learned all those, skill sets there, now doing the food that they grew up with that's from their culture. And it's awesome.
I've been waiting for this moment. I think a lot of us food writers have been talking about the Filipino pedigree and how they're in the kitchen and all the best chefs in town, they just happen to be Filipino. It's a food-centric culture, so I love it.
Is that it?
That's
your news?
Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry. I just retired and looked off into the sunset and didn't tell anybody that we were finished.
That's the best way to do it. All right, that's your news for the week. Now we're going to get to our guest. This woman convinced her husband to take their Golden Hill apartment and turn it into her own tortilleria, and she has done amazingly well. Now that are audibly snacking on air, what is in that tortilla?
Organic cassava flour, water, organic coconut oil, and sea salt.
That's it. 4 ingredients. You're supposed to put 9,000 ingredients in food in the United States these days. You are 8,996 off. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about tortillas because as a food person for a very long time, and tortillas are really near and dear to, Mexican culture, obviously, but San Diego culture, which is Mexican culture. It's really at the heart of who we are as, a food environment, and we had a tragic loss recently in Pancho Villa. Pancho Villa closed down. That was where our abuelita, she would get her tortillas, and she's from Guadalajara, and she knew like where all the best tortillas are in San Diego, and she would drive all the way down to get them from Pancho Villa. And it closed. So now we're talking about how and where you get great tortillas. And that brings me to our guest today from Sonora, Mexico. And this is where I'm going to butcher your intro. And you just tell me afterwards how much I messed it up. And you can correct me.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
A woman who came to California, went to culinary school, worked behind the scenes for a production company that did a lot of Food Network shows. She cooked at the James Beard House, worked with Chef Marcella, who we know from Food Network in San Diego. And she realized when she got to that high level of the food, ecosphere, that they were lacking certain things, like tortillas were lacking certain things, just small things like soul and substance, and
good ingredients,
and not too many ingredients. And she convinced her husband, who had nothing to do with the food industry whatsoever, although he was in the medical field and the health field, which he's in the health field, then you are in the health field if you're in the food field. So they're almost related. She convinced him to start making real tortillas with real ingredients in their small San Diego studio, not even an apartment. She clarified earlier before the show, using 4 ingredients only, because sometimes going forward is going backwards, right? Going back to our roots. Welcome, Janet Flores Pavlovich, founder of Coyotas Organic Tortillas.
Hi, thank you. That was great.
I didn't mess it up?
No, you didn't mess it up. You did it perfectly.
Troy.
Yep.
I think we need to do it over so that I can mess it up.
Okay. No, you're higher.
Troy's been on a roll lately. He's been doing too good of a job.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I've discovered my Peloton, and I've discovered the absence of drinking as much.
I was going to say, you seem healthy, alive, bright.
I need my Peloton as well. I sold it, and I miss it.
The only way it got me through the pandemic, I would have been a very different version of me. Okay, so Coyotas. We're going to go back a little bit, but the tortilla that we just ate, that is, again, 4 ingredients. How long did it take you starting this an idea in your tiny little studio? What part of San Diego?
Golden Hill.
In Golden Hill. So
yes.
Coyotas, which a lot of people do know now. When we booked this, producer Julia was like, "Oh my God, I love Coyotas." And I'm like, "Oh, good, right on, fantastic." A San Diego success story, available in now Whole Foods in like 9 states, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of independent stores, not only Whole Foods.
And a lot of independent stores. A success story done out of a studio in Golden Hill, where I used to live. So I'm I'm proud of this one.
Yep.
I'm taking ownership of it, even if it's totally undeserved. So when you first started tinkering with a perfect tortilla, like what did you start with? What mistakes did you make? How did you a lot of them.
I mean, not because I'm a chef and I'm a Mexican. Honestly, I realized that I didn't know how to make tortillas. I tried, but I wasn't getting the tortillas that I remember that I was raised eating or playing. Like I used to play with tortilla dough, like Play-Doh with my cousins.
Tortilla dough was
Play-Doh.
your Play-Doh as a kid.
Yeah, like they were making tortillas, and my grandfather was a farmer, a wheat farmer.
Okay.
So that's why in Sonora, I was born and raised in Sonora, Mexico. So that's why in Sonora we are the king state of wheat flour tortillas.
Got it.
In Mexico.
So
we don't know
really
nothing about corn, honestly. Only flour.
Yeah, so if you're eating a flour tortilla, a lot of most of that culture comes. I mean, in San Diego, comes from the Sonoran influence.
Yes, they're actually named over there, like in the stores, Sonora style tortilla, which they're not.
Right.
So I got really offended.
And why are they not?
Because they have a lot of ingredients. They
Right.
have a lot of ingredients. They are thick. Like they're not like. So, a real Sonora style tortilla, it's made with only 4 ingredients: wheat flour, lard, water, and sea salt. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
For me, that's how a tortilla should be, like made out of.
Right.
And they're thin, paper thin. Like you can see through it, and they're soft and they're pliable, and that's a real tortilla for me. So that's why when I started with the idea, I was like, I need to dignify that tortilla.
Dignify the tortilla. It's
Dignify
kind of
that
become your motto.
tortilla.
Your
that's the
raison d'etre.
yeah, like
didn't
we
even
have
say
a
that right.
Coyotas constitution, and that's our Article 1.
Okay.
Like dignify that tortilla.
Okay.
First of all.
Dignify the tortilla.
Yeah,
Is it-
because everybody eats tortillas. Like everybody eats tacos. I don't care who you are. Everybody eats tacos, and we are getting used to having a crappy tortilla with your taco.
We're so used to it. I think Americans are that it's the standard. I mean, beyond used to it, it's all they know.
Exactly.
They don't even know anything else exists.
Exactly. And also, like, for me, it didn't make sense. Like, you're buying, like, these grass-fed whatever beef or pasture-raised organic eggs, or if you're, like, vegan or like, organic whatever products, putting them in a crappy tortilla.
Right.
And why would you?
I know.
Please don't.
Yeah, well, and if you think about it, that's like having the best ingredients in a sandwich and putting it on Wonder Bread.
Exactly.
No offense to Wonder Bread.
People ignore the casing. They ignore the bread around it. With the carbs sometimes gets because they think it's not complicated because historically there are few ingredients, right? It's like you throw it in an oven or whatever. I just feel like it is like carbs are the forgotten ingredient when it comes to quality.
All right, so now we're going to go back. I'm going to take you way back.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Back to childhood.
Yeah.
Back to childhood.
Childhood.
I want to get a little bit of a linear story from you.
Okay.
Tell me about your childhood in Sonora. You're the granddaughter of a wheat farmer?
Yes.
Okay. And so what do you remember? I mean, obviously that's a beautiful memory of you playing with, know, tortilla dough as your own Play-Doh, you know, and obviously that set your life.
Apparently, yeah. Now that I connect the dots, it did.
Yeah.
It did. There's a lot of dots that I connect that I'm related with
Such
tortillas.
as?
Like I run by, that's how we say.
Yeah,
run by with a friend, a college friend, and he told me like, you own me a piece of your company, and I was like, why? He was like, don't you remember I helped you write your 10-page essay in the culinary school 15 years ago about the importance of tortillas.
Does that get us market share? Because in that case, we could be like way richer.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. Like, you had me, because obviously because of my English, I have him writing a 10-page essay of my final essay of how important is a tortilla.
So you've been chasing this memory of a Sonoran tortilla that you grew up with your grandfather and your family cooking almost every day that you're using as a childhood toy.
Yeah.
You know, you've been chasing this idea and trying to recreate it or create something that is similar of that memory.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been in the culinary in a lot of different phases or industry, like for the Food Network, as you mentioned, like behind the scenes or a fancy pastry shop. But I realized that let's go back to basics.
All right, back to basics is really where you need to go with food. We're going back to organic farming. We're going back to minimal intervention on foods. We're going back to unprocessed foods. You know, we're taking the red dyes out of everything.
And I read somewhere like the future of food is in the past.
Yes.
And I love it.
It is
deeply
really
believe that.
Like
deeply believe that. And look, we put different ingredients in food for a very good reason. We needed to feed 300 million people, and we didn't have enough farms, and we moved the cities away from the farms themselves.
Exactly.
You know, so they needed to be shelf stable. They needed to be everything else. So we took all of the great nutrition out of a lot of different foods.
Yeah.
You know, and made them more shelf stable.
Yeah.
And now that we have the luxury of being able to go back again, and then we have small farms in different cities, and we have a lot of drastically better distribution systems. You know, now we don't need to just be shelf stable. We can be food and health stable.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you remember about tortillas when you were a kid, though? Like, aside from the Play-Doh, I mean, was this like an everyday thing? Were you, I mean, at every meal almost?
Yeah, we ate tortillas at every meal, and we have tortilleras, that's how we call them. Places where you find tortillas every day.
Yeah.
So there are women making tortillas fresh with those 4 ingredients every day, so we can enjoy them that same day.
Yeah.
So that's like something I really have, how can I say?
Strong memory.
Yeah. That's something that it's really strong on me. Like, I remember eating fresh tortillas, so I'm really spoiled on tortillas.
Right, exactly. So I mean, you came from one of the birthplaces of what we know in American culture as tortillas, which, I mean, corn tortillas now are getting really, rife throughout U.S. culture, but across most U.S. culture, I would say the flour tortilla, the Sonoran style tortilla,
that's
is
how
the
we
most
were introduced to it.
Yes.
Because we make wraps out of that,
Burritos.
right? Like, there's all sorts of like American style foods that are used. Flour tortillas.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more versatile, like for the sizes. We even have like these huge 40 inches tortillas over there that is just like hand stretched and super thin.
They're beautiful,
like crepes almost.
Yeah, like more thin.
Tortilla blanket.
Yeah, tortilla blanket.
A
And
snuggie.
like you can smell it. And I try to make those, and it's so difficult.
It is so difficult. Okay, so when was your first food memory that you thought you might go into food then? I mean, you eventually came over to the United States for culinary school. You went to culinary school in San Diego. But what was that first moment that you're like, oh my God, this is what I want to do with my life? Was it when you were young or? Yeah,
I think so. My dad had restaurants.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, okay. But they were like fast food restaurants. Fast food back then, it wasn't like what we have right now. They were burger restaurants.
Okay.
Hamburger restaurants.
In Sonora?
In Sonora.
Because Sonora is also beef.
It's
wheat.
Exactly. And I grew up in the restaurants.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So you're like, all right, this is my family life. This is my business. My grandfather was a wheat farmer. My father took that wheat, turned it into a bun. It took some of that Sonoran beef, made a burger, got some kind of mascot. Did we have a mascot in your dad's?
Yeah, we did. It was a dinosaur.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to Dad and his dinosaur fast food Mexican Sonoran restaurant. And so you come to San Diego, and you went to the American Art Institute in San Diego, which R.I.P. It is no longer around, but it did train for a long, long time. It trained some of our up and coming chefs in San Diego, and you get into culinary school. What do you learn? And you're missing the tortilla, and you're really getting deep. Which means you're probably seeing a lot of the fabrication of the food system, meaning like the worst terrible ingredients that we're kind of putting in things in a way that we're not really doing it right, especially probably in San Diego, because Mexican food is such a part of who we are. It doesn't mean we necessarily do it right, and not right. Nothing is right. Whatever. Well, actually, there are wrong ways to do food, but we're not doing it the way that you grew up with in Sonora.
Yeah.
Right. And so you go from culinary school, and then you get a job with a production company. Okay, cooking behind the scenes on some of the Food Network shows.
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that experience. How did you get that experience? Tell me what it was like.
I love it. It was like, like I went to culinary school here in San Diego because in United States you had it like more, like it was when all the celebrity chefs were like popping, like there were a lot of celebrity chefs, like
2007, 2009.
Yes,
that was when I got into food.
Exactly. So it was like something, a real thing to do. So that's why I went to culinary school here in San Diego. And then the funny thing is that when I was in school, they picked me up. Like they picked one student from every school. They had this school, our institute were in all the states. Yeah. So they pick up one student from every school to represent the school. And they flew us to New York to see like the Iron Chef behind the scenes of one of the Food Network shows. It was like this. They were picking up the Iron Chef back then. One of the Iron Chefs. Right. So
I actually judged Bobby Flay on that show right about that time. I think it was 2012 I did Iron Chef.
Okay. Okay. So that was like my first introduction to the Food Network world when I was in a culinary school.
What was your impression? Were you wide-eyed and like, oh my God? Or were you like, Yeah. Whoa. Interesting.
Interesting. No, I was impressed. Like, and I went to the James Beard house. I was impressed like with the whole thing, and I thought to myself like, yeah, I want to work here.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
And
I ended up working there.
So you were on the culinary teams. Now, people who don't know Food Network, so at any show, and I don't know if this is your experience, on any show that we have, there's a whole culinary department. So behind the set, there is a restaurant, essentially.
Yes.
That is cooking. Is cooking for the staff. Is cooking for like they're doing beauties, meaning like if you have like you need to recreate a dish. What else? Like, is that what you
and we did the whole process of the recipe the chef was doing. We did the whole process like 3 times. Because you have to be fast. Productions are really expensive, so you have to be really fast and have like, if you're doing a cake, we used to have like the butter. I shows are really difficult pronunciations for me, but okay, if you're doing like a grilled vegetables, so we have like the vegetables 3 times, pretty perfect, so we can do swap outs in case it was a mistake.
Yep.
And then we have the vegetables pre-cutted. And 3 times.
So, and these are for visuals to recreate.
No, this is like for the chef to like, okay, now we're doing the vegetables. Okay, bring the vegetables. So the chef is standing out there, and we just like put the vegetables in. And then I cut them. Yeah. Cut it like, I don't say like bring the vegetables that they're already cut. So if she cut some of the vegetables, but not all of them, for example. And then we're grilling the vegetables. Okay, so she's grilling some vegetables, but not all of them because it takes a lot of time.
Sure.
So we did all the swap outs. Yeah. And then we prepare everything for the beauty shots.
Yeah. And so this isn't like cooking competition shows. This is
this is like for the cooking show.
The cooking instructional shows.
Yes.
So a chef will show you like, here's what you do with these, but we need more of these. So there's somebody behind set being like, okay, well, I will do exactly what she's doing. So we'll have 1, 2, 3 different cuts, but with the same exact process.
I didn't know those were called beauties either. That's new knowledge for me. The pretty food.
You call it beauty, like right after, because then you do like a beauty shot.
Right.
Yeah,
it's so cute.
It's a really interesting.
Yeah. So you're basically recreating that experience along with the chef, and that's where you met Chef Marcela.
Yeah.
Okay, so Chef Marcela from Tijuana, I believe she's originally from Tijuana, both in San Diego as well. She's done a lot on Food Network, a bunch of the food and wine festivals. You start working with her. What was it like working with her?
Amazing. She's great.
Okay.
Yes.
And you guys did the food and wine festivals? You did Sobe?
Yeah, Sobe, New York.
Okay. And did you cook at the
few times.
James Beard house with her?
Yes.
Okay. What was the James Beard house like?
It's a great experience. It's tiny.
It is tiny.
You're cooking in a tiny house.
It's like the Mona Lisa. You think it's going to be so big because it's so big in your history, in your imagination and pop culture.
The whole foundation, everything is so big, but when you get to the house, it's tiny.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's a great experience. Yeah.
Okay. And was it, what were you cooking for?
It was like 15 years ago. A lot of years ago. I was born.
No worries.
I had like 3 years. No, I'm kidding. It was a lot of years ago. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you're cooking at the James Beard house. You're working for production companies that are doing stuff on Food Network. Yep. And then you realize that you really want to try making a real, authentic, bringing dignity back to the tortilla.
Yeah, that was few years after when I moved to San Diego because I met my husband Alfredo. We got married, and I need to do something. I left everything we were doing behind. I burned the boats. We burned the boats together. Yeah. And we decided, like, if we're going to do this tortilla, we have to be the best out there. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I tried to recreate the tortillas that I remember. And I went and buy, like, all the flour, the lard, the sea salt, everything. And I couldn't make them.
Why couldn't you, do you think? What was so hard about it? What tripped you up?
For me, it's like I have to go back to where it started. So I went back to Hermosillo and knocked at the doors on every tortilleria to learn how to make tortillas. Like, I needed to be there. For me, I needed to be there. Okay. Like, I wanted to do something that really, really, I feel really comfortable. That's why I choose tortillas, because I feel really comfortable with tortillas, and it's something that represents me. Yeah. And I couldn't make them, so I went back to Hermosillo, Sonora. I knocked on the doors on some tortillerias, and none of them, like some of them told me no because
bet.
like nope.
Like,
Don't
yeah,
make
right.
me.
Who are you?
Who are you? Don't make me waste my time. A typical Sonora woman. But the thing is, like, they're doing tortillas in 120 degrees weather outside with a hot comal. It's like, come on, I have to make tortillas. Don't make me lose my time.
Yeah.
So until I found someone that told me, yes, I'll make you come tomorrow.
Who was this man, woman that said
Sylvia.
yes? Sylvia.
She's actually in the back of the pack for now. Yeah.
For now.
Sorry, it's because I have. They're my kids, and we're updating the photos.
Sylvia, if you
I
act
love
up.
you.
Sylvia, if you
Let's
step
cut
in
it.
line,
Hey, Sylvia, your time is...
may not be on the package anymore.
No. Okay, we have to cut that.
But
Like,
actually, this
remove
is
that.
a good call. Let's signpost this. Hermosillo is in the middle of the desert, right?
It's on the
It is
middle.
hot.
It's real hot. Like it's dry hot. So if you are outdoors, you feel like the sun is burning through, like burning you. Like,
and you're cooking...
and they're cooking tortillas so everybody can enjoy them fresh.
There's no part of the 360 around you that isn't scorching hot. Yeah. So
There's not. And they are like, some of them, they're like flipping them with their hands. Like it's the real deal. So I went there, and I also realized, like, they don't want to teach new generations to make tortillas because they're not well paid.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was like,
they're protecting them. Like, look, this food is not worth, you know,
like,
what
because there are a lot of big, massive tortilla industry that they're like with really cheap prices, and they cannot compete.
Sure.
Yeah, why do by hand what you can do with a machine?
Exactly.
X a million, right?
With low quality ingredients that will cost less. So I felt like not only the need to dignify the tortilla, but also to honor those women.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, because they inspire me. Like, if they can do it, why would I not can do it? You
so
know, like,
Sylvia is out in 120 degree heat in the middle of the desert teaching. Opened her house to you. I mean, her restaurant, her house.
No, her house.
Yeah, it was out of her house.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, but I mean, they basically.
Metaphorically, it's her house.
It's her house.
What did you learn? I mean, you had to go back to, to Hermosillo to figure out what was the key to making the tortillas you remember. What did you learn? What was it like?
What were you missing?
I think I was missing, like, the soul.
Okay.
The purpose. Like as I mentioned, like, and not only I wanted to dignify the tortilla now, but I felt so inspired that I wanted to honor them.
Mm-hmm.
So I came back with a mission.
Yeah. And honestly, that's part of what you need in any business or anything that you're going to make. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Who am I doing this for? I'm
Exactly.
doing this
That's a
for
really
Sylvia.
good point. Easy to lose track of that when you're like in the thick of it, right? And it's like, whoa, what am I doing
You
and
always
why?
have to go back. Like, why am I doing this?
Was there something physically that you were missing, or a part of the technique that you weren't getting?
No,
or
I don't think so. Like, no.
It was just like,
I mean, because you can Google flour tortillas recipes, and they're pretty good flour tortillas recipe. I think I was missing to, like, be there.
Mm-hmm. You're like, I have this memory that's a little bit faded.
Yeah.
You know, I have this memory that
Yes.
there was better tortillas in my life.
Yes.
But I didn't have that face to them, necessarily. You didn't have that story. So you went back and met Sylvia, and you kind of did this in her honor.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's a place-based food that is so specific to one place, but it's become worldwide now, and it's lost a lot of, like, the commercialized version of it has lost that connection to its place. So you felt that too and needed to get it back.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And then I came back to San Diego, and as a chef, I was like, back then, it was 6 years ago now when I started with the whole idea. I didn't know what I know now about a lot of wheat flours. Like, there are really good wheat flours over there, like live wheat flours, ancestral with heirloom. Like, I didn't know that back then. So, and I wanted to be like super, like, the cleanest label tortillas. So that's why, like, I need to find an alternative.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this.
Yes.
And we'll talk about it in general sense, and I think that this is important for people to know. I mean, we talked about it off the top of the show. The tortillas that you get that are mass-produced, not all of them are terrible, but in order to make them shelf-stable, there's been a lot of things that have been added. There's been, weeds, dough conditioners, gums, emulsifiers. They're optimized for cost and convenience. They're not optimized, for taste and flavor and soul, and texture, and again, it goes back to our flour in the United States and across the world. Shelf stable flour is bereft of any nutritional value and taste, really, because they take the part that'll spoil out of it, which that part of the spoil is meant to be there for the flavor and the nutrition.
Exactly.
Right? And
they have less gluten.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
I know. So what were the things that you were like, okay, I mean, obviously you just wanted to make it very simple because that was the recipe that you were born and raised with, but what were the few things that you were like, no, I cannot put this in my tortilla?
So a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. I got you. You're teaching me
That's
about
a tough word.
You help me with the tortilla language.
I can say it in Spanish.
I got you. Yeah.
It has to be organic.
Yeah.
Like there's no options. And it has to be in a compostable packaging.
Got it. Okay.
That for me was like, this was 6 years ago. Of course, I couldn't get the compostable packaging when we started.
Right.
But that was like my innovation.
Yeah.
To get into that.
Yeah. And if you see her bags now, I mean, these are compostable paper bags.
Yeah, they're 100% compostable.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, certified 100% compostable. So we just got them last year. So my idea was like, I have to make a tortilla with only 4 ingredients like the ones in Sonora.
Mm-hmm.
But I went and buy like all the, in a small niche, like all the gluten-free and grain-free tortillas.
Yeah.
The alternative, healthier tortillas, because those were the ones that had less ingredients.
Sure.
So I went and buy like all of them at Whole Foods, and I thought to myself, if I'm not better than them in texture, flavor, ingredients, certifications, and packaging, why would I even start?
Sure.
Like, why would I?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't have
if
the
they
money
have
like
a good
they
enough
have.
option and it's already there.
They haven't really.
It's a good question that not enough manufacturers ask. So I love that because that leads to innovation, right?
Of course, and they had an okay option. And why would people switch if you're not giving something better?
Yeah.
And I didn't have the money to back it up. Right.
So
to fight them.
So set the scene for me. Paint the picture. You start tinkering in your Golden Hill studio.
Yes. Yeah. I start making like buying all the flowers, everything, in my studio, with my husband trying the tortillas, and it took me a while.
Like, what do you mean by a while?
Well,
how long?
I came back from Hermosillo in July, and we started at the farmers markets in December.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so it took you 6 months to get something close that you could open.
But before that, I was trying to make tortillas.
Okay.
Before going to Hermosillo, I was trying to make tortillas, and I failed.
Yeah, so this is a couple-year process. So it takes you back to where you're from. And eventually ends up at the farmer's market in San Diego.
Yes, because we needed to start. So I find out that cassava is a really good option because it's a root vegetable.
Yep.
The whole root, they peel it, they dry it, and ground it into flour.
Sure. Yeah.
That's the process. And I've been to our cassava fields, farms, where we source it in Latin America.
Okay.
Because it's popular in Brazil, a staple of
Yeah.
Brazilian
It's
food, and also African
in Brazil.
cuisines.
Yeah. It's only grown on the lower part of the equator.
Okay. Yeah.
So we cannot grow cassava here in the United States. So the thing is, so I find out that cassava is a really good alternative, and it tastes authentic because there are a lot of options over there, like almond flour tortillas or other type of tortillas. But for me, they're not tortillas. They're wraps.
And why not do like the classic wheat flour that you knew from Sonora? Why cassava instead?
Because it was a smaller niche. And if we're going to start, it's easier to fight in a smaller niche, to be successful in a smaller niche.
Okay, got it.
And also, I'm a chef. I wanted to have innovate something or a challenge or
right.
And as I mentioned, I didn't know what I know now about really good quality wheat that I already found.
Right.
Because eventually we're going to do a wheat flour tortilla.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because wheat flour at that time was just absolute bullshit.
For me, no. So we focus because I convinced my husband to leave everything he was doing, and we focus on doing like the best cassava tortilla out there, nonstop, like in texture and flavor, like laser focus on that. So that's how we started.
Do you still remember the moment in your Golden Hill kitchen when you took that one recipe off of the hot plate, gave it to your husband, and both you ate it, and you're like, I think we did it.
Yeah, I think we did it. And honestly, it wasn't about the flavor, the texture. I also wanted to perform well if you freeze them. Like our tortillas don't stick together when they're frozen.
Yeah.
If you I want them to perform well. Like if you heat them up, eat like everything, like
for convenience,
for
the things
for
in everyday,
everyone.
in everybody's life.
How a family would actually use them.
Exactly.
Right? We have tortillas in our freezer right now.
Exactly, because they don't have preservatives, so everybody's going to freeze them.
Yeah.
Like, well, not everyone. I hope not. Like, eat them right away.
Right.
The whole pack.
Give it a few days. Yeah.
But there's only 8. You could do it in one sitting.
Exactly. But I want them to freeze well.
Mm-hmm.
And they did.
Yeah. What is the worst thing, like for you? What is the thing that really ruins commercial tortillas? Or is it the gums? Is it the emulsifiers? Is it?
The ingredients for me is like when I see a tortilla, the first thing I do is like I read the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
If it has gums, it's like no. Like there are some words that I can't even pronounce in English that they have.
Mm-hmm.
If they have, I don't know, like I don't want to offend anybody, but also like baking powder, sugar, like no, you don't need to put that on your tortilla.
Right. I don't think
it's not bad. Maybe
no. By saying your personal preference, I don't think you're offending anybody.
Or honey or something. Like it's good, but it's not a tortilla. Like get really intense. Like it's not a tortilla,
and it's not as good of a product. So it's like you're adding ingredients to make a worse tasting and worse textured product.
Exactly.
If you just used fewer ingredients and did it the right way, you could make a better one. Yeah. So it's logical.
Exactly. For me, it was logical, but I think it's not. Right, that common.
So you get your cassava tortillas, and you're doing it at the farmer's market. Was it an instantaneous success? Were people really happy about this?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Yeah, the way that you just smiled at me, it was.
We got in trouble because we were like cooking the tortillas. We only could do like 70 packs per day, like the whole day. And I had my father-in-law and my mother-in-law making tortillas. Like everybody was making tortillas.
Yeah.
And we only cooked like just a little bit left tortillas, and then we have to go to a farmer's market next day, and then eventually we started the 2020.
Okay.
So we got COVID.
Right.
Like 3 months after we were like.
Right after you started this. Yes, that doesn't feel good as a young startup.
But we always knew that we needed to start in the farmer's market, but we were small with big ambition.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
like I've seen other brands, and I was like, we have to be like at least as big as them.
Right. Got it. And so it's really taking off at the farmer's market, and you're probably selling out almost every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're the first stall that's gone.
And because I think also San Diego is the best place to do this.
Yeah.
Like honestly, San Diego, I start taking more care of what I ate when I moved to San Diego for culinary school.
Yep.
Like I learned a lot of.
We give a damn about ingredients. We have more small farms per capita than any other county in the United States. We know what real good food is.
Exactly.
We always say you go to New York for the restaurants, you go to San Diego for the ingredients.
Exactly. I start with the paleo diet when I moved to San Diego. Like I wanted that's how I started with the whole idea, like less ingredients, less process, everything.
Yeah. So less ingredients, less process. That led to Coyotas. Tell me the story of the name.
Oh, yeah, the name's really important. So the name is a name from a hometown.
Okay.
That originally refers to a strong woman, providers.
Okay.
Yeah. Those women used to sell these like small cookies that they call Coyotas sometimes.
Okay.
But the women were the Coyotas.
Okay.
So in my intention and my mission to honor woman, strong woman, that's why I named the name my tortillas Coyotas.
So the Coyotas are the strong women that would,
And now I have 4 daughters, so.
True. Oh, you got a few Coyotas.
I had a few Coyotas that I have to make them proud.
Yeah. Okay, so this is an ode to the strong women that you saw on the street, making things and selling things and providing for their family.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what you're doing.
I was doing,
yeah. Well, you and your father and your mother and your cousin and everybody who was cooking tortillas before the farmer's market when you first started.
Yes.
Nice. What was the best day for you so far? What was the hardest day? Meaning, like, I'm sure there was a moment where you almost gave up. Let's start there. And then what was your best day?
I have to confess, like, my husband wanted to give up every 6 months.
Yeah.
Like,
I believe it.
We had 2 kids.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that at all.
Like, we had 2 kids. He was like, Janet, I can do something else. Like, we don't need money. Like, we don't need money right now. We just need to make a really perfect tortilla.
Yeah.
Like, eventually everything will come along if you like really laser focus and be the best in one thing.
Yeah.
So, and he was like, but I need to get a job, Janet. Come
I
on.
know.
Like, we need food. I was like, what's food? Like, we don't need
we're
to
making
eat.
food,
We're
dude.
fasting.
Come on.
Yeah.
We ate tortillas a lot. Like, that's the only thing we ate. Like, tortillas
I love
with
this.
everything, with hummus and spread, like, with everything.
So you basically survived on tortillas while you were chasing your dream.
Yeah.
I just love this focus. I love that through, like, you're building a company, you're married, you're having 4 kids, and you are just laser focused on the perfect tortilla.
Yes.
I love it. I love it so much.
Thank you. We were crazy like that because we started our marriage and a business at the same time.
Yes,
Okay.
baby. He knows a little bit about that.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
Just do it all at the same time.
Yeah, why not?
Don't
right?
space it out. Don't project manage.
We
don't
did marriage
do
and
any
baby
logistics.
at the same time
just,
too, so you're in
Yeah.
good company.
Just
Yeah.
try to eat the entire Vegas buffet
whole
at the
thing.
same time.
I respect it.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and then what was your best day? I mean, when was it? Was it when you launched at the farmer's market? Was it when you got the Whole Foods called and said, we love your product? Was it when, I don't know.
I have a really, really good days. And surprise is when I receive message from customers that they're like, thank you so much for doing this. Or like, those are my best days.
Yeah.
Like when someone appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah.
Not getting into getting to Whole Foods, it's good.
Yeah.
But what makes me, or what keeps me going, is the reaction that we're having, the appreciation of everybody.
When somebody from your hometown emails you and says.
Well, not from my hometown.
Okay.
From here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what is the hometown reaction? I gotta know.
I know, because they're all wheat flour.
Of course. Well, we took them one day to a carne asada, and nobody noticed.
No way. Okay, that's it. That's all I need to know, right?
Stamp of approval.
It wasn't my intention. Like, I don't want to substitute.
Sure.
Like, that's a different tortilla, but it was like, we put them in a tortilla.
I love that you dosed an Hermosillo carne asada with cassava tortillas and nobody noticed.
They
That
love
is true.
that.
Congratulations.
Exactly.
You have arrived.
All right, so those tortillas, especially off that hot plate, warm to the touch, are absolutely delicious. You have built yourself through, unending determination, through your husband begging you to get that he can get his own job, and you
He's
telling him
amazing.
no, you
He's
keeping him
amazing.
unemployed, and Coyotas focused. You created a really strong, really loved,
Thank you.
beautiful brand. You knew you
you.
could do it.
Yeah.
You knew it was part of your childhood. You knew you could bring dignity back to the tortilla.
Yeah.
And they're great.
work.
These tortillas rule.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
They
Thank
are
you.
honestly fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I surround myself with a really good team also.
Yeah, I mean that's
really, really good team.
yeah. Well, I have a
He's got an okay team.
I would say no. My great team has a mediocre me. But
That's what.
all right. Let's get into this really quick. That is the story of Coyotas, a San Diego pride and joy
Yeah.
in the grocery stores in a lot of different markets now with that beautiful branding too.
Yeah.
A place in San Diego, it's called Two People $50. You can do as
Yep.
many dollars as you want. Where have you eaten or where do you love to eat in San Diego that you would recommend people go? I mean, where are you living now? You're in Mission Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, which Mission Valley, I swear to God, is actually happening now. It's starting to, now that the car dealerships have been saying this for 2
We've
years.
been calling it.
And we're calling it. We keep on calling it.
Well, I have to say Nectarine Grove because they have our tortillas.
Nectarine Grove.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nectarine.
We have one in Del Mar.
Mhm.
Is it valid? Or is it too far?
Oh, no,
away?
you're all good.
Okay.
The entire
You've got
county.
your 4 girls.
Yeah.
They're hungry. They're yelling at you. They're like, Mom, we got to eat now.
I think
Where you guys going?
Nectarine Grove is we don't usually go out,
Yeah.
honestly, because with
You can say one of the restaurants.
with
Fair
babies
enough.
and everything.
Yeah.
But Nectarine Grove, they have 2 locations. Leucadia and Del Mar.
Yeah, Leucadia. They got the smoothies. They got all that reasonably healthy food.
Yes,
they give a damn about.
They care about the ingredients, obviously, because they're using Coyotas, and they swap. They were using another supplier for their grain-free tortillas, and when I introduced them to Coyotas, even though we were expensive, they say yes.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. They
Amazing.
say like, okay, we're swapping because you
It's
have
that
better
good.
ingredients. They have organic, and the other ones had santangums and they weren't organic.
Got it.
So I know they have a high quality standard ingredients there.
Okay.
So you have to order obviously the California burrito.
Okay. With the
With
Coyotas. Okay,
Coyotas.
so you can get a taste of of your
Yeah.
product if you go to Nectar and Grove. And I think I've actually had that burrito. So
Oh,
I think
really?
I've had your tortillas even before I knew them.
It is, exactly.
Okay.
And maybe you have to drink water, but it's filtered water.
There you go.
If you're only going with $50.
Highly recommend the water at Nectar and Grove.
But because you put me a limit of $50.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Jackie, are you 2P50?
I am. So
Okay.
I went to Isola,
Okay.
the bakery. I hadn't been there. I hadn't been to the new East Village location in a couple of Saturdays.
Okay.
So I have a 2-year-old.
Okay.
And
Oh.
so some days I wake up and I'm like, we're not doing anything ever again. And then some days I wake up and I'm like, I'm energized. We're going out in the world. So a few Saturdays I woke up, I went down and I got the muffaletta and the bibimbap croissant, which are like two of the craziest
muffaletta.
pastries I've ever had in my life. And they're exactly what they sound like. One is a muffaletta, the classic New Orleans meat stacked giant sandwich, and the other is bibimbap. And
to
that one
try
has
that
daikon, zucchini, carrot filling. It is just the coolest thing ever. They have a vegan version too. So Isola constantly coming out with
Where is it? Because we
East
always
Village.
we do take them to Wafer. We usually go to Wafer.
yeah, that's my other favorite
Yeah,
bakery.
Yeah, I
Wafer
love
is
it.
So this is in the East
fantastic.
Village. It's
Okay.
right by the public library, and they just built this whole new, gleaming, beautiful. They crowdfunded for it.
Okay.
New
Good to know.
bakery and dining area. There's an outside space. It's really nice. Glad I finally went.
All right, so for my $2 I'm going to go stay in Mission Valley where you're from. I'm going to Gravity Heights, which is the same people that brought San Diego Whisk and Ladle, which RIP, but that was a fantastic restaurant. Arturo Castle, Chef Ryan Johnston. They do Catania as well in La Jolla, which is really great. But with Gravity Heights, they just wanted a place that made quality craft beer and then also had really good food, because for a long time in San Diego's beer scene, all craft beer food was crap. It was so bad. It was like, here's an old sausage and and a dark ale.
Old sausage.
My God. So what these guys do, they have a really good whiskey and ladle burger with American cheese. It's fantastic. Julia's losing her shit. And then they do. But I would go for, if you're gonna go there, I would definitely do their pasta bolognese.
Okay.
They have a
Oh my
bolognese
God.
pasta, which is really,
Love
really
it.
good. Pretty much anything that you get there is going to be
Okay.
great. But they opened up Mission Valley in a long time, I think it's been about a year now, and it's finally getting its legs. It's over by Shake Shack. It's a beautiful little location. You've got all of these, residential towers that are going into Mission Valley. This stuff is happening in Mission Valley. Fashion Valley is about ready to bring in a lot more restaurants. Mission Valley is about ready to bring in a lot more restaurants, including locals. But this is kind of the canary in that coal mine, and it's probably one of the best places to eat in Mission Valley as we
my
speak.
God.
And you get a great beer because it's from, the brewer is Skip Virgilio. He was original brewmaster of AleSmith Brewing in San Diego, so he's kind of a legend in San Diego. Anyways, that's that. Thank you so much for coming
Oh,
on and
thank you
sharing
for
your
having
story
me.
and for
Yeah.
bringing us beautiful bags and beautiful tortillas, which we are all going to share with the staff and crush immediately. We'll have to warm them in the air fryer.
I hope we have
think.
butter. I
Well,
just need to
we'll
roll up
find
a
some
tortilla
butter.
with
You
butter.
can also fry them in the air fryer and they get crispy,
Make
like a
chips?
tostada or chips.
Okay.
We'll be coming out with chips soon.
Okay,
Interesting.
and look, keep an
By
eye
the
out for the
way.
Coyotas chips.
Interesting.
This has been, I'd like to say thank you everybody for Julia's favorite episode ever, because I've never seen you more excited about a guest when I booked.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you, Julia.
And you can find you guys on Instagram where?
Eat Coyotas.
Eat Coyotas?
You will have to say it, yeah. Eat Coyotas.
Okay, Eat Coyotas, Coyotas. Go check them out. And Jack's at JACQBRY.
As
And
annoying as
I'm Hey
possible.
Troy Johnson. We'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you.